Yes, sir.
So what you will get an as output?
As the output, there is a square wave,
Pulseless,
like
yeah. What is the
the
magnitude of the square wave?
okay. I don't
For
calculate that.
line voltages plus or minus VDC, sir. Phase voltages 2 VDC by 3.
Plus or minus VDC.
Yes, sir, for line voltages.
Okay. And this is line to line. And what about
Yes, sir.
phase?
2 VDC by 3, sir. Plus or minus 2 VDC by 3.
Plus or minus 2 VDC by 3.
Yes, sir. In phase voltages, we got 3 pulses, sir. In line voltages, only 1 pulse.
Okay. Yeah, more or less it comes like the same, but I think phase voltage it should come like more or less. Yeah, 2 VDC by 3. Okay. So we will discuss that part later once we understood the half wave bridge and what is the PWM and what is the importance of the PWM, how it is works. Okay. So once we understand this half bridge converter, it will be much easier for you to understand a three-phase converter, isn't it? So we'll start with a simple half bridge converter. Is it all right for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, so first of all, before going to it, first of all, let me see what is PWM. Have you heard about PWM?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We call it as
Pulse with
Pulse
Pulse with
width
modulation.
so why do we use PWM?
In order to vary the voltage and frequency.
So using the PWM, we can vary the voltage and
Also
frequency.
reduce the harmonics.
Yeah. So how we generate the PWM, first we'll understand. So if you see here, in general, we have multiple methods to generate PWM. There are space vector modulation techniques are there, sinusoidal PWM techniques are there, and then low frequency techniques are also there. Hysteresis method is also there, which acts as a control and also a pulse generator. So there are multiple methods to generate the pulses to the switches. So on a condition, let's assume that if we most oftenly what we use is sinusoidal PWM, SPWM, what we say. This is sinusoidal PWM. This is the most commonly adopted through industries, and also many people use this sinusoidal PWM. So we look into this sinusoidal PWM approach here. In this, let's say if I have a triangle waveform, this triangle waveform is what I say it as carrier waveform. Okay, we generally call this as a carrier waveform. This has a frequency of switching frequency. So whatever the frequency you select for this carrier waveform, at that frequency you generate your pulses. So let's say if you have a time period as Ts, so switching frequency FSW will be 1 by tau s. Okay, this is now this carrier wave has a higher frequency. Usually we take it as somewhere around 5,000 hertz for a VSC or 10,000 hertz also. And what we do is we'll also pass a modulating signal. What is modulating signal means? The signal which is used to compare with this carrier wave and to generate a PWM pulses. So based on the modulating signal, we name the PWM type. So if it is sinusoidal modulating signal, which we take as a reference, then we say it as a sinusoidal PWM. So let us take a sinusoidal, modulating reference. So it's a very, let's say like this, it's a part of sine wave. It's not a complete sine wave. And complete sine wave may be like a very big waveform here. This is positive off, you can say. but a part will be like this, a small portion of a sine. Now in this, whenever modulating signal is larger than the carrier wave, then a pulse will be triggered on. Okay, then a pulse will be triggered on. For example, here in this region, how we have, do we have a modulating signal greater or a carrier wave as a greater one in this region?
Modulating signal.
Modulating signal.
Modulating signal is greater. So in this region, what we get is, we get a pulse. I'll take another reference here. We get a positive pulse. Okay, and here in this second region, this region, we have carrier wave is a larger one, so we get a zero signal till that, until your modulating signal is larger than the carrier wave, and once again it's larger, then again you get a positive wave like this. So this is how you generate your pulses in a sine PWM by comparing your modulating signal with the carrier wave. Now how we will use this? How we will use it in real time? So let's take a half bridge converter. Let me take the picture. So I'm copying it from a textbook. So I already shared the textbook with you to the Google Drive. Yeah, let's take this half wave converter. Here, generally what we have is IGBT. Generally at switches, let's say this is switch 1 and switch 2. So in this place, we will have a IGBT with anti-parallel diode. But for simplicity, in the textbook also, he refers that we will take a transistor. Transistor also behaves in the same way as a IGBT, more or less. Only thing is it has a low power capabilities. So anyways, for analysis, we can use this. Now we will take few assumptions. We'll go with the ideal characteristics. Ideal characteristics. What are the assumptions we will make for ideal characteristics is, first thing, we assume that each transistor or a diode will short circuit immediately when switch is there. Short circuit when in conduction mode. So when you are saying it in the conduction mode, we don't assume any feed forward resistance. We assume it as an ideal short circuit. Okay, this is assumption 1. Then second assumption, when they are in blocking state, when transistor and diode are in blocking state, then it is considered as open circuit. It behaves as open circuit. This is the second assumption. And third assumption is there is no trailing current. There are no trailing currents. For transistors. And the fourth assumption is the diodes turn off immediately without having any reverse recovery current. turn off the reverse recovery current. Then fifth assumption is the AC side. Here we have two portions. This portion, we say it as AC side, and this portion we say it as DC side. Why we say it as? Because the supply here it's a DC and here it is AC, and they are connecting it through a converter. And the AC side, in the AC side, again, if you see here, we have a passive RL circuit. This RL circuit will also act as a filter. Act as current filter. Okay? Or simply you can say it as filter. Why? The reason being, the voltage what we get here, we get in a pulse nature. So once it is passed through the RL circuit, the voltage what you get here and the current which you see, current that flowing through this, will be non-pulsed, like more or less like a smoother waveform, because inductance doesn't allow sudden change in current, so it comes more or less like a smoother waveform. It filters out the harmonics indirectly. So that's why we use RL circuit here. And here, for simplicity, for the sake of connectivity, we connected the negative terminal point. There is no negative terminal point, but the other side of the AC point is connected to the 0 point at this DC. Okay, this is the connection. This is which we also seen in the last time for half-wave waveform, like half-bridge converters. Now, ideally, I will assume this has a sinusoidal waveform. Let's say it's a grid voltage, so we can assume as a sine wave. And here we have pure DC. And the other assumption is, the fifth assumption is the AC side current, which is I, this I. This I flowing in this direction is ripple free. Current is ripple free. It means it is more or less smoother. So this we are doing it to analyze the switching states and other switching behavior here. So let's assume ideally we can take it as a, for example, DC quantity, because if you compare the 1000 kilohertz or 5000 kilohertz with respect to which is the switching state, switching frequency is at 5000 kilohertz, and we are comparing with the sine wave which has a 50 hertz. So over 50 hertz, it looks more or less like a straight DC line, isn't it? Even here, the frequency is maybe 100 hertz or 200 hertz here. If you see the triangle waveform here, this is having a lower frequency. If you have a very high frequency, this waveform, how does it look like? It looks like more or less straight line, isn't it? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, for example, if I have a triangle layer like this, like very closely packed triangle wave like this. So, in this, if I draw a bigger sine wave like this, it looks more or less like a DC quantity for this triangle wave. Maybe at least at this instant, even for one switching instant, it looks like more or less a DC, isn't it? So that's why the assumption of DC is more or less valid for now, at least for analysis purpose. Once we analyze it, we'll also go for non-ideal characteristics also, but only for analysis purpose, we are taking that assumption. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Should that be DC side current?
Which one? No. This one is, we are talking about AC side current itself.
Okay.
We are talking about AC side current. We are doing analysis at the switch level, at the switching instance level, which is very high frequency. At that level, that for one cycle of switching frequency, you will almost assume, we can always see that current is not changing instantaneously. Reason being, you also have inductance that doesn't allow it to sudden change of currents also. So maybe they might be having a very minute change, but as an assumption, we are making it as an constant, ideally ripple free and DC. Okay.
Yes.
So it's ideal conditions, like assumptions. Mostly we are taking assumptions. These are all assumptions to plot the ideal characteristics. Okay. Later we'll go with the practical characteristics, non-ideal characteristics. And lastly, the change in switching states are instantaneous. It means it can turn on and turn off instantaneously without any lag or delay. The change in states are instantaneous. That is turn on to off or turn off to or like conduction mode to blocking mode or blocking mode to conduction mode. Okay. To blocking. Blocking to conduction. Is that clear? These are all assumptions. Under this assumption, now let's see how the circuit behaves. So let's say do I need to draw or shall I take it from a textbook image? Which is the better option?
Take it from textbook.
Yeah, I'll take it from textbook so that it saves some time. Yeah, before that, before I capture that screenshot, let me ask you one question. Can I ever turn on this both Q1 and Q4 at the same time?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Short
Short
circuit.
circuit.
So
The source.
you should
No.
always remember that
Short circuit.
SW1 and SW2 are complementary in nature. It means whenever I turn on Q1, I should always turn off Q4. So in the same way, let me extend this. Let's say this is like SW1 status. Then what should be the SW2? Or sorry, SW4 here. I think number has 4. So what should be the SW4? During this, it should be off. And it will be on when S1W1 is off, then on, and then off. So this is how the switching states will be there for SW4 and SW1. Just to remember like this. Is that clear? Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
What does you mean by trailing current in transistor?
Trailing current as in like the current which is there. Like even though if you turn off, there is a current flowing through it because of some residual effect.
Magnetic charge carrier current, sir. Actually.
Yeah, magnetic charge. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a case 1 which you are looking for. Positives AC current. It means what I'm trying to say here is the current at the AC side is positive. So before that, let me give notations. So we assume that current flows in this direction only from DC to AC. That current is assumed as a positive sign. Okay. And the power is also taken in the same way. The power always flowing from the DC to AC, and we assume it as a AC power, positive power. Is it okay? So these notations will follow. These notations, the arrow direction you just remember. So this direction of current and this direction of power we consider as a positive. Okay, just to remember. Now, sorry, I think it's got disconnected. Hello, can you see my screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, let me show it again. That was it. How about now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for the positive AC current, that is, if you see here, the current is in positive direction. This is plus from 0 to here. This is the current what I'm talking about. So what do you have here is, let's say, because of the PWM effect, your S1 is in off state. Let's assume S1 is at off state, that is 0 initially. So under that condition, what should be S4? If
On.
switch-
On.
Yeah. SW4 should be 1. So we have that SW4 as 1. Now, during this, the current is positive. What does it indicate? My current is flowing in this direction only. So will that happen? How can that happen? If, see, generally the current should flow. Here if you see, if that flows like this, the switch should be on and it flows like this and it is valid. But how we have, diode can't go with the reverse current. So diode 1 is not conduction. Q1 can't be connected. And if the current can't even go from this direction because Q4 is in the reverse. From the Q4 direction, the current direction is in this way. If you see here, it can't reverse go the current. So to make it this positive, only way the current can flow here is through diode D4, isn't it? To make this I positive, the only way the current can flow is through diode D4. Will you all agree on this?
Yes.
Yes,
So why not to Q1? Can you just say again?
Q1 is no, we don't even have a switching
Switch
pulse.
off.
It is SW1 is 0.
Okay.
Initially, SW1 is, our assumption SW1 is 0.
Yes, yes.
So there is no way that SW1 can flow, like allow the current because it's not even provided with the gate pulse. Only thing which has gate pulse is Q4, but Q4 can't allow because our assumption was current is I is in positive direction. So here the Q4 current can only go in a negative way. So that also doesn't allow in conduction. So only one switch that can allow conduction is diode. Isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So we'll check that here. So if you see here, IQ1 is at 0, ID1 is at 0, IQ4 is at 0, but ID1 has I current. Isn't it? Now, because of that, what should be our voltage at this point? VT? If current is flowing like this, what should be voltage at this point? VT. So
VD by 2.
VDC by 2.
Minus VDC by
this is off, this is 0, this is off, so you don't have VDC by 2. Only thing what you can see here is this point, this terminal point. This terminal point and this terminal point are short circuited, isn't it? Let me use blue color. You can note it out. This terminal point and this terminal point, are they then short circuited? Our assumption is there is no blockage or there is no resistance during the path on path, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this part, this point, this blue point, both are same. So what is
Yes.
the voltage at this point?
Yes, sir.
Minus VDC by 2.
Yes, sir. Minus VDC by 2.
So you have minus VDC by 2 here. So VT should be minus VDC by 2. So we got minus VDC by 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. Now let's go for the second case. If S1 is on and S4 is off. SW1 is 1. Sorry, again, I think there is some glitch in my OneNote. It's going to turn up. Yeah, we're able to see now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
So SW1 is 1 and SW4 is 0. Under this condition, how the current flows? So let me erase this again so that you don't get confused. So now you tell me how we can see this.
Through Q1, sir.
Yeah, SW1 is on. Simply, so the current direction is positive. Our assumption, first assumption is the current assumption. Current is in positive. AC is a current. So current should come like this or like this. But we know that SW1 is already on. So there is a possibility of flowing the current in this direction. So it can go like this through Q1. Okay. So, and what about the voltage at VT?
Plus VDC by 2.
Plus VDC by 2.
Yeah, plus VDC by 2. So let's check that. We got S11. Current is positive. Everything current is flowing from IQ1. And ID1 is 0. IQ4 is 0. And ID4 also comes to 0. And we have plus VDC by 2 here. So everything satisfies here. So this is how our positive current will move. Okay. And the voltage across this thing. So during this, the VP point, you should remember always, all the time, the VP point and VN points. So VP point always has VDC by 2 and VN point always has minus VDC by 2. Now you should always check that this VT, is it connected to the VN point or is it connected to the VDC point? Sorry, VP point. If it is connected, if the VT is connected to the VP point, that has always exhibits VDC by 2. If it is connected to the VN point, it exhibits minus VDC by 2. Okay, based on the connectivity, you can check that what is the terminal voltage. So shall we do it for negative current? This we did it for positive AC current.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what if I have a negative AC current? So you tell me, then we will take a picture from the textbook. First you tell me, analyze and tell me, then we'll do it. Yeah. First, assume that S1 is off. So one thing is, we have negative current, AC current. So current direction is like this. Okay, I direction is like this. Now, SW1 is at 0, which indicates SW4 is at 1. So tell me, what should be your IQ4? Let's come with switch-wise. What should be your IQ1?
Off.
Obviously off because it is not on. What about ID1?
0.
0.
Are you sure ID1 is 0?
Yes.
Yeah. What about IQ4?
1.
VDC by 2.
On state.
Minus 1.
Yes, sir.
ID4? 0.
0.
Yeah. And what about VDC?
So why minus 1?
Sorry, minus, because we are having a current in reverse direction, right? Yes, and
Yeah, got it.
IQ4 is positive because the IQ4 direction is like this, but I direction is like this, isn't it?
I direction is opposite to the normal direction, right?
Yeah, so that's why I kept as -1. Okay.
Yes.
Then what about VT?
Minus
Mine-
VDC by 2.
VDC by 2.
Minus VDC by 2 because it is connecting direct to the V endpoint. VT is connecting to the V endpoint. Wonderful. Now let's do it on the other way. Let's do it for SW1 is 1 and SW4 is 0. In this case, tell me.
ID1 on state.
ID1 on state.
Equal to I.
Yeah, ID1 is equal to minus I1 or I1.
I1.
I only.
I1, sir.
Yeah, I1 or -1.
Minus
Once
I.
again, read it.
I, sir, no minus.
No minus I itself, sir.
See, what is the direction of I?
Reverse.
This direction. What about the ID1 direction? This direction.
Okay.
So tell me.
Minus I.
Minus
I
one.
see, I may have -2 or -3 amperes, okay? But what about I? We are talking in reference with I only. We are not talking about the current value there, isn't it? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say? I may have -2 amps as a current. But the relation which we are drawing here, we are drawing in terms of I only, not with this internal sign. No?
So with reference to I, it should be positive, but as the direction is from AC to DC, so it is negative.
So what do you finally conclude? Is it negative or positive? ID1 with respect to I.
Negative, sir.
Negative.
Negative.
Sir, negative.
Negative with respect to I. With respect to I, it is negative. I may be negative. Minus into minus again comes to be positive, okay? See, I may hold some -2 amps. So -2 into -2, total comes as 2 amps. ID1 may come as 2 amps because the direction of ID1 matches with this. But what I'm trying to say is, we are talking about I. With respect to I, we are talking. You're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And now what about IQ1? It should be 0.
0.
IQ4 0 and ID4 is 0.
0.
Now what about VT?
Plus VDC by 2.
Yeah, VDC by 2. So this is how we get. So let me show it. Let me copy it from textbook and see whether it was correct or not. I'll bet it here itself on the right side. Yeah. So SW0, IQ1 0, ID1 0, IQ4 is -1. Wonderful. VDC is -2. VDC. Wonderful. SW1 is 1. Then ID is -y. Yeah, ID is -y. Then 0, 0, 0, 0, VDC. Yeah. So we got correct. So switching instance are correct now. So this is how the switching instance takes place. Now we will understand how the power is transferred. Shall we do that?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, if for a positive current, how the power is transferred?
From DC side to AC side.
So DC side to AC side. So how do we represent it mathematically? Any guess?
VDC into I.
VDC to Y. VDC into I. So why do we have VDC there? Why don't we have VDC by 2? Okay. So shall we do one thing? Instead of using this switch, shall we represent this switch as one current source, IP, dependent current source, whatever it may be. And here this I will represent as IN. Okay. So to give the power analysis, this is what I'm trying to say here. I'm taking that entire switch unit as IP. And IN. Okay. What does this mean? What should be the IP from this information? How do I define IP? How do I define IP? IP is nothing but net current, isn't it? IP, what is the direction of IP here? From this point to this point. If I see this point to this point. So how can I write here? IP current direction is like this. How can I write it? IQ1 minus ID1.
IQ1 minus ID1. Yes.
Similarly, IN direction is like this. How can I write IN equivalent value?
ID4 minus IQ4.
ID4 minus IQ4, correct. So that's how I represented equivalently IP and IN, which indicates switch current, net switch current. So see, why I'm writing like this is, generally, although we say that we have a diode, overall it is a cell unit, a switch cell unit, right? It's combined unit. We don't, from a switch point of view, it exists, coexists. Diode and transistor both coexist, isn't it? So we need that net current, isn't it? You're getting
Yes,
the point?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it both diode and the transistor, although we written here separately, but if you see this dotted circle, this entire circle, generally switch comes as this only, where they have inherently has all this anti-parallel diodes also. So what we say is, we say only the switch current, the amount of switch current that is flowing through it. So that's why I'm trying to write in the terms of switch current only. You're getting my point? What I'm trying to say here? All of you? I want some unison.
Sir, can you please repeat once?
Hello?
Sir, can you please repeat once?
Your voice is not bit clear. Can you be louder?
Sir, can you repeat once? Actually,
Yeah,
they
what-
were saying before.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here is, generally, if you go out and if you buy an IGBT, what you get is you get an IGBT cell which inherently has been added with the anti-parallel diode. Generally, if you buy and if you go and buy a switch of IGBT, you will have that anti-parallel diode already embedded into it. Now, if I see the current flowing through that switch, what does it mean? It's a net current. The current that's flowing through the diode minus the current that's flowing through the switch, isn't it? It's a net diode, net current. So we should always look about the net current. So that's why I'm writing the net current IP as IQ1 minus ID1. We don't worry about this ID1 and IQ1. What we worry about is IP, the net current that is flowing through the switch cell. Similarly, the net current that's flowing through the bottom switch cell. We are not worried about the transistor or diode current, rather we are worried about the combination of that. So that's why we want to take the entire switch current only, not individual currents.
Okay, sir.
So once you define this currents, and also VT, I defined as a voltage source. It's a dependable voltage source here. So not, I means I'm not defining it. It has been defined in the textbook. So it's a dependable voltage source. Okay. Now, if you see here, the switch states generally, if you see the combination of S1 plus S4, will it be always 1 to make a conduction? Will you agree on this?
Yes, sir.
If it is conduction mode. this will be always there. Either SW1 will be on or SW4 will be on. Okay. If both are off, then switch is in both are like system is non-conduction mode. That is, I will not be flowing, zero current will be there, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes, sir.
So on a combination, we can say it as at any instant of time, SW1 of time plus SW4 of time. Time means at any instant of time, I'm saying, that's why. It will be 1, rule number 1. Next, what about the terminal voltage? What happens to VT? VT, again. Yeah, sorry for that. I think it's visible now.
Yes, sir.
What happens to VT? When SW1 is on. When SW1 is on, what happens to VT?
VDC by 2.
Positive.
VDC by
Yes, by 2.
VDC by 2. VDC by 2. Is this valid for every condition or is it valid for only a particular condition?
For negative supply.
positive current.
So here SW is 1, here SW is 1. What we have in both the cases?
VDC by,
For both positive and negative.
so VDC will be.
Yeah. So VDC by 2. So in short, this is valid if I P. Right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And IP is equal to I. When SW4 is 1, then what happens to VT of T? Minus VDC by 2.
Minus
VDC by 2.
And IN will be
Minus, sir.
Minus
minus I
plus
plus I.
plus I.
plus I plus I.
Plus I. Okay. Now, from this relation, can I make, like from this switching relation, can I make a analogous information from S1 to S4 with respect to VT and VDC? I can say that VT is nothing but VDC by 2 into SW1 plus minus VDC by 2 into SW4 of T. Can I say this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
VT overall for duration. And similarly, I can say IP of T is nothing but net current that is flowing from the switch. Net current IS of T or IS1 of T. And IN of T is nothing but net current that is flowing from switch 4 of T. Equivalent current that is flowing from the switch 1 and switch 4. Okay. Now we got VT and IP and IN values, all we got. How do I write DC power, the power at this point, PDC? Can I write VP, like PDC, like here, PDC is equal to VP into IP plus VN into IN. Can I write like that? The PDC power. You have two parts. You have some voltage here, some voltage here. You have some current here, some current here. What is the total current here? Total power here in this direction?
Addition.
Addition, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I'm writing this. Vp into Ip plus Vn into In. Net DC power. I think it's is it confusing? So let's see again here only. You can see assume here itself. What is the total power here? Total PDC power here over full duration. Half a time you have this one. Half a time you have this one. Like for certain time you have this one based on your switch condition. For certain time you have this one based on your switch condition. You all agree on that?
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So based on the conduction, again you have IP and IN, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The total power, net power is nothing but this power plus this power, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
So that simply I can write is PDC of T is Vp into Ip plus Vn into In. This comes as PDC by 2 S1 of T S4 of T I, because we know that Ip and In are both are one. Sorry, both are I. Will you agree on this?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, what happens to the PT, the power at this point? Obvious, it's a simple region. We don't have any lossy system here. So obviously what happens to the power at this point?
Same.
Same PDC.
It should come same, right? So
Yes,
we
please.
should write mathematically. It's nothing but VT into I. It's nothing but VT into I. So
Yes, sir.
PT of T VT into I, but we know that what is VT? VDC by 2 S1 minus VDC by 2 S4, that into I. So this comes as the same value as this. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And what happens to the source power? PS of T, that is the power supplied here at this point. This we can write it simply Vs into I. Because we don't know what is Vs, it totally depends on Vs, isn't it? Is that clear?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, yeah, the output voltage is you taken in the alternative. So how can take you the current direction is always in DC form, like it is always positive or it is always negative.
It's not about now positive or negative. This is with relation with respect to Vp and Ip. It's a relation. Maybe it's maybe negative, maybe it may be positive, but it's a relation. If it is negative, there might be reverse conduction.
Okay. No, sir. I talking about at the, initially first that you
Yeah.
take you always take the I as a positive one
Yeah.
time that.
Yes.
So
This
if
case
the-
you're talking about, right?
Yes. If voltage is fluctuating, alternating, so how the current can be always positive? That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Voltage is fluctuating, but still the current is in a positive direction. This is what your question is.
Yes, sir.
So, can anyone answer this question? Okay. See.
Inductor does not oppose sudden change in currents.
Sorry. Yeah, please say ahead.
Inductor does not oppose sudden change in currents. है.
induction doesn't oppose. Yeah, that is one reason. But anyways, we are not talking about inductance. So including that assumption only, we have assumed that current is smoother. So see, assumption is current is smoother. This is an assumption that current is ripple free and smooth. Now,
Yes, sir.
the question comes, why voltage is fluctuating? So irrespective of current, why current is smooth, why we assume that it is ripple free, reason is, as someone is saying, inductance doesn't allow sudden change in currents. Now the question comes, why voltage is fluctuating? So voltage is fluctuating. Yeah, voltage is fluctuating based on the switching status. That's it.
Yes, sir. Voltage is fluctuating in the switching status, but
As per
when
the switching status. Yeah.
yeah, but the current you assuming that it will always positive.
Yes, it's an assumption. As I'm saying, it's an assumption that it is ripple free. Why it is why I assumed it is ripple free? As someone has said, rightly said. So since we have already a huge amount of inductance, obviously it doesn't allow sudden change in current. That is one reason, and that reason is valid also. And this assumption is also valid, but it is valid only for a certain extent. Okay. They may have a ripple, but that ripple may not be like sudden ripple like this. Rather, they may have a ripple like this. Okay. A smooth ripples, which is might be inductance. So it's a partially correct assumption, but it won't be having a switching currents like this. I won't be having like this amount of switching, like suddenly changing 0 to 10 or like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this is only to visualize the direction of power flow direction, like only to understand the basic level of how the current is there, how this direction of power flow is there, and all these concepts only. Okay, only to as a very idealistic conditions. You get my point? Only to derive an average model approach.
So can you just little bit brief on that IN equals to I here? Yes, sir.
This one?
Yes, sir. Above, sir.
This one, right? You're talking about?
Beside the box. Yes, sir. Same. This
Yeah.
one also. Yes.
Why IP is equal to I and IN is equal to I.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We said at any condition, if the current, if this I is, if there is some current flowing in this, if you see here also, if there is any current flowing through this, if I is positive or I is some value, what maybe a positive or maybe negative, what is the net current of this? If I say IN is equal to, sorry, here IP is equal to IQ1 minus ID1. If I do this net sum, what is the value I get here during this region?
Positive, sir.
And what about this region? Either it is
Negative,
zero.
negative. Yes.
No,
Zero. It's
either
zero.
it is zero or we have a positive.
Positive.
Right?
Yes.
So it means it has only I value.
Yes, sir.
During that on state.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go with same IN value here. During this state, what is the net current? IN I defined as net current that is flowing through the switch. How do I define? Minus IQ4 plus ID4. What happens to the ID here? Positive.
Positive.
So what is the net current here? I. Here also high. Let's go with negative current now. Let's see for negative current also. This is for positive current. IP. How do I define? IQ1 minus ID1.
Yes, sir.
What happened to IQ1 here during this state? 0. And what happened to ID1? It is 0.
0.
When it is conduction mode, what is that? ID1?
0. Okay, it becomes positive.
This is 0. And minus of minus I comes as I.
Positive. Yes, sir.
Similarly, what happens to IN here? Sorry. Yeah. What happens to IN here?
Minus IQ4 plus ID4.
Minus of minus 1, IQ4
Okay.
plus ID4 plus 0.
Okay, then positive.
So at any state, what you are getting here?
Positive, sir.
When switch is on, it is I.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I try to say here.
Correct. Got it.
Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please try to make the interaction so that See, it's not that I'm a genius and I know everything. There are hundreds of times where I might be going wrong. So you should also correct me if I go wrong, and it should be a mutual discussion. In short, what I'm trying to say is, just think like you're discussing with your friend, and maybe a technical discussion, not a non-technical discussion, but you're having a discussion with your friend. And there can be sometimes I may wrong and sometimes you may wrong. So we will have a discussion so that we will get a positive. And then we should get a knowledge. That's what our final motivation should be. So please continue the same discussions like this. Please ask me questions. If I am wrong, I may correct myself also in future. And if I'm correct, you may get some knowledge. Yeah. So till here, any doubts?
No, sir.
So it's clear, right? Crystal clear? Switching states, powers, and everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, if I see the loss in the system, at least in the DC circuit, it's PDC minus PT, which comes to be 0. The net loss. You all agree on that? Reason being, obviously, I did not consider any. I considered ideal switches, and everything is ideal, so obviously there should not be any loss. If I take a practical switch, then it will be lossy because of the trailing resistance and conduction resistance and blocking resistance. All these factors, leakage currents, all this compressed factor comes into picture, and then there will be some amount of loss. But practically, that will be taken in later stages. Ideally, it is lossless. Agreed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let's do for average modeling of this. Much of that. Yeah. Now, if I see to do the average model, I should write a differential equations. Just like how you do it in a state-space modeling. I think you also did in a state-space modeling of buck converter or boost converters. You might have done in your undergrad electronics, I hope. So let me write the dynamic expression for this. What should be the dynamic expression for this? For I? Because there is only one dynamic component. What is the dynamic component we have here? Can anyone say what is the dynamic component we have here?
Inductor.
Inductance, yeah. So then we can directly write L dr by dt is nothing but Ri or else LR, yeah, let me add this. VT of t minus Vs. This is what we get. So I is also dependent of time. This is the differential equation what we have. Now, if I want to do it, get an average value, how do I do it? For one full cycle, I need to integrate it. Isn't it? For an average waveform.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How do I get an average values?
Integrate.
Integrate it. So if I want to calculate average voltage, so first I should calculate a average voltage. I'll just write a formula and leave it. I know I exceeded 2 minutes of time. TS is a sample, the time rate at which switching is happening. TS Vt tau d tau plus h is equal to 1 to infinite. We are looking forward in forward action. Ah cos h omega st plus bh sin h omega st. What is omega s? Omega s is nothing but
Switching.
2 pi by tau s. So this is nothing but a simple average model. I think those who have done some signals and Fourier transforms are like, at least even in the electric measurements also we use this. Not electric networks also we use it. Isn't it? Average modeling of a square wave based on the operational time.
Yes, sir. 4 years.
And the AH and BH values, they are constants, or that's not constant, they are harmonic order coefficients. AH and BH are harmonic order coefficients. Like it decides which what is the magnitude of each harmonic, isn't it? So where AH comes as 2 by tau S. To be frank, I too don't remember all these formulas. I'm just writing it from my own material. So omega S tau d tau. Similarly, BH we have 2 by tau S 0 to tau S Vt tau sine H omega S tau d tau. So the derivation of this everything is already available in our signals and systems where you might have studied there. If not, just go through it and try to recollect this. Okay, this coefficients and all this expression, how we get this average voltage. Try to do this. This is nothing but a spare for a spare wave. You did a average over for a periodic time. You're trying to get an Fourier series expansion actually. You're trying to get a Fourier series expansion. So you're trying to transform our square wave in terms of sine using Fourier. So this is normal Fourier series expansion only. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we'll end this here and we'll continue in the next class. So yeah, are there any doubts here? Conceptually, are there any doubts? Maybe if you have doubts in the formula wise, we can discuss in the next class. But conceptually, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So from here on, the things will get interesting. We will go more of a mathematical approaches now. From now. So I think first two classes were first. I think we have done only one class. First class was very boring because of theoretical aspect. But here on, will get interesting as we go more dig into more of mathematics. Okay. Sometimes it might get challenging also. If you love challenges, I think you can love this subject also further. So be interactive. Okay. Only thing I request is be interactive. Yeah.
So does the subject have more of inverter parts or rectifiers as well?
We do everything in the perspective of inverters because
Okay.
microgrid means as a source I'm pushing some power to the system.
To the grid, AC grid.
Yeah. Only one thing we will do as a rectifier, that is one control tuning, we'll do it as a rectifier. Reason for that is I'll explain later on that stage. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. But rest everything we will do in the perspective of inverter only, where we are pushing power from our side to the source, to the network.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't have any doubts, we can end this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.